partnership between Celestion and Marshall has always been one of the most talked about things within our factory, our offices, our building. It's a long-standing relationship from 1962, right from when Marshall started. We were involved supplying Celestion speakers to Marshall. Here we are today, back with the grassroots really of guitar tone and where Celestion came from.
The origin story for Celestion guitar speakers goes back to the late 1950s when an engineer called Les Wood took an old radio speaker called the G12 and made it tougher and more robust for use in the amplifiers of the day that were being used by the new guitar heroes. Fast forward to 1962 when Marshall started making amps. By then the Celestion Alnico G12 was kind of becoming the go-to loudspeaker for guitarists and guitar amplifiers. And this was really kind of ground zero for the partnership between Marshall and Celestion.
Here we have the Celestion 100, which is our anniversary speaker this year, and it really is taking us right back to the grassroots of where the first guitar speakers came from. The first speaker we ever did with Marshall was the TO652, that's the model number, and it looked quite similar to this. It had the bolted on magnet, it's got this old-fashioned kind of vintagey hammerite paint finish, and then right through to all of the soft parts. We went right back to the beginning, looking at every little nuance that made a slight difference in tone. Lots of love and care is going into every one of these models.
So there are similarities and differences in terms of the specification compared to the original silver Alnico, for example. The new 100 is a 30 watt power rating, whereas the original silver would have been 15 watts. We've done this through a little bit of clever engineering in the soft parts and in the voice coil. But apart from that, it's 100 decibel sensitivity, which is the same as the original Alnico, and everything else is really meant to be as close as possible. We've added a few modern twists. For example, it's an 8-hole chassis, whereas the original would have been a 4-hole, which is more convenient for some people. And also it's got a push-on connector tab, which is a little more convenient than having to solder things all of the time. But tonally, it's as close to the original silver as we can possibly make it.
Yeah, it's almost like the pinnacle of British manufacturing, that the two factories are literally an hour and a half down the road from each other. You can't underestimate the engineering partnership and how close the two engineering teams collaborate together. And I think if we look at the musical instrument brands, both Marshall and Celestion as individual brands, and then the sum of the two brands coming together, are right at the pinnacle of the musical instrument world. And I think certainly from probably about the last 10 years, any major launch from Marshall's had a Celestion in, because it's the right thing to do. The brands just are seen to fit really well together.